What's up, ladies and gentlemen on YouTube? This is Matthew Scooby. Welcome back to my channel. So, I have a lot of things that I've missed the past couple weeks. One of those things being Glenn Jacobs, a childhood hero of mine, which is Kane. Actually, this is the first time I've actually known his actual name. Ironically, the other thing that's ironic, this is the first time I've actually heard him speak. I actually watched a video before this. I've never heard this man speak, and it's been a long time since I actually watched WE. So that's why I'm so interested, because, like I said, I've never heard this guy speak before, and I used to see him with his mask on. I saw him with his mask off one other time. That's when he finally took off his mask when he was wrestling, but at that time I stopped watching wrestling. I stopped watching WE like a long time ago, but still, Kane has remained one of my favorite WE stars. So I want to hear what he has to say. I might stop the video a few times as I get there.
Adventures combined. He was a complete unknown just a few months ago, but Ossoff is running to fill the seat that Tom Price vacated when he became
get to the
Secretary
point.
of Health and Human Services. WWE superstar Kane, he is now a mayoral candidate for the
It's rare to see him with
Knox County,
hair.
Tennessee. And we'll get to that in just a minute. Welcome back, Kane.
Thank you. How you doing?
And again, this is the first time I've heard this man speak. I've known of this guy for like almost 20 years, since he started wrestling. I forgot how long he's been wrestling, but I've never heard him speak before, so this is weird for me.
It's a crazy time to run for office, and I want to get to your run in just a little bit, but do you think Republicans are in trouble in 2018 because of the political climate now, and does this race in Georgia sort of illustrate that?
I don't know if the race in Georgia is indicative of that. You know, the big story, of course, from the left has been Donald Trump's tax returns.
Yeah.
But I think a bigger question is whatever happened to those emails that Lois Lerner had from the IRS. I think that's what people are tired of, is the fact that if you ever get audited by the IRS, okay, and you were to say, oh, I lost these emails which prove my innocence, they're not just going to say, oh, we're sorry for the inconvenience, have a nice day.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a lot of trouble, but if you're a high government official, if you're the head of the IRS, somehow that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not.
He does have a point there. Like, just because, especially in the U.S., if you're a government official, just because you're a government official doesn't mean you get leeway whatsoever. Just because you're a government official doesn't mean the rules don't apply to you whatsoever. So I'm glad we're seeing this type of change, and I'm glad to see it definitely coming from Kane, of all people.
Not the same set of standards here.
Exactly.
So you are running as a Republican in your home state of Tennessee, and you pointed out you've been all over the world, but you and your family have chosen to live in that part of the country. What do you hope to achieve in this run, and if you are elected as mayor?
Knox County is already a great place to live. One thing, Tennessee
Can't
is
argue
the
with that.
fourth, according to CEO Magazine, the fourth best place to do business in the country.
Why?
That's great for Tennessee all around because we have a business-friendly environment, right-to-work state. The General Assembly has done a very good job of making Tennessee.
This is the first time I heard about this. I didn't know Tennessee was doing so well in the job market. Usually when you hear about these things, you hear about places like New York or some cities in California or Texas, at least in my experience. But, you know, I'm not saying I didn't know that Tennessee wasn't doing well. This is the first I've heard of it, that it's the fourth best place to do business.
A very favorable environment for business.
Yeah.
But for our local economic development, we see Nashville doing real well. Chattanooga is doing real well.
Mm-hmm.
We're in intense competition with our neighbor cities in Knox County to attract business. I think one of the keys, is having a world-class workforce.
Yeah.
And I believe that what's happened with all this overreach from the Department of Education in Washington
That's right.
is it's really damaged the ability of our local school board, of our wonderful teachers in Knox County, and administrators to do what they do best.
Okay, so
educate.
you and I talked.
That's something, you know, I've always thought about too. Of course, other people have thought about it also. But there comes a point where, you know, the government can't... Things may sound good on paper in the long run, but when too many people make too many rules, eventually it starts a clusterfuck. When there's too many rules and too many regulations, you eventually prevent what the general idea, what you're supposed to do. In things like, example of Department of Education, it may sound good on paper, but when too many people are making too many rules, it becomes confusing in what they're actually supposed to be doing, especially when it comes to their job.
A little bit about vocational training before the show. Mike Rowe was on the show a couple weeks ago talking about that very thing. If you don't want student debt, if you want to get out of school and make good money, go for some of these vocational jobs. How will you use government to get out of the way so people can thrive in areas like that?
We actually, in Knox County, already have a pretty good CTE program.
Yeah.
I would like to get the private sector more involved with apprenticeships, training, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, okay, if a kid wants to go to college, that's awesome. He should be, or she should be encouraged to do that.
Sure.
There's also nothing wrong with being a plumber, with being a mechanic, with being a carpenter, frankly, with getting into robotics and that sort of thing, which are huge opportunities in the future.
Yeah.
I think one of the keys is to get the private sector involved with things like apprenticeships, things like training centers, to where you can supplement what goes on in schools with the academic side of things.
What was the most influential?
Okay, so I'm going to dabble a little bit. So, it's been no secret that for the past at least 10 years, I'm not sure about before because I was in the Army at the time, so I didn't really get into the job market. But it's been no secret that you always needed a bachelor degree to do anything in the U.S., to do almost absolutely anything. Like almost nothing required like an associate's degree or whatever. And even if you did, you would pay so much money just to go to college, which is a weird thing. If you want a society full of educated people, why would you make education to begin with so expensive, and by the time those people go in the workforce, they're in so much debt? And I'm one of those people. I've actually been to college at least 2 times. I'm actually in college the 3rd time now. So yeah, and you have all these vocational jobs, but yet they're not, it's really hard to find these type of jobs in certain cities, especially in places like California. And when I was in California, I tried to find any type of job that didn't require too much of a strenuous resume. It just seems that they always ask for this and that, and you can't, it's hard to qualify for something when they make their standards too high. So I get where he's coming from. I do like the idea of more jobs like these being on the market.
Influential thing that you read that helped you develop your political voice, or the most influential politician or political person?
There's been a lot of them, from Ronald Reagan to F.A. Hayek to Ron Paul, and most recently Rand Paul. And it's so wonderful to see the emergence of Senator Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, Justin Amash, Mike Lee, those guys that are pulling the Republican Party in the direction of liberty and free markets.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where you are. We'll see how you are doing in this year run-up to the mayoral race. Please continue to check in with us.
Thank you.
Excellent. See, he's so gentle. Everyone was worried that you were going to snuff the life out of them.
Yeah, it's so funny because for the past 20 years, he's been playing the mean, the bad guy, the guy that would choke people to death. And yet here he is, like this gentle giant. So again, it is kind of weird for me to see him talk like this and to see him like so friendly in this manner, because I'm so used to seeing him like mean. And also, I don't know, it's weird for me to see this. So yeah, I have nothing wrong with it. I agree with his political view. Of course, this is just one video. There's probably going to dabble more into it as time goes on. But I congratulate Mr. I think his last name is Jacobs. I don't know. Like I said, I know him as Kane. So yeah, I congratulate him, and I'm glad to see this. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think, because I gotta go for now. I have other things to review. I'll see you later. Peace out.